Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year. Can't believe it's been another year. I wanted to just do like a little life update, casual chit chat with you guys. I think I'm gonna turn my car off because it might be kind of loud. So I'm parked on the side of the road right now and I'm ready to chat. 2022 was a really great year for me. Personally, for my career, my relationships, like I just feel like overall it was a very good year. I'm not gonna repeat myself a ton, like I've already given kind of my like New Year's goals on the podcast and talked about that kind of stuff, and also I did like a recap as well, but I did kind of just want to share like where my head has been at towards the last week of the year and going into the new year. And I've been feeling a lot of feelings, and I don't know, maybe a lot of you guys can relate, hopefully. The holidays for the past few years have been, I don't want to say a sad time, but I like haven't really looked forward to the holidays the past few years, and I was trying to reflect on why that is, because I love Christmas, I love the holidays, I love like going to get hot chocolate and the cozy vibes, like I love all of that, and I'm like, why have I been just like kind of sad during these holidays? I was realizing it could like tie into my infertility basically. I haven't given you guys an update on my fertility stuff in quite a while. I feel like I've literally talked about it like publicly a few times this year total. Like I don't really talk about it a lot. And to be honest, it hasn't been on my mind that much. I'll have moments where it is, but that's not like been a main theme of this year like it was for me in 2021. In 2021, we did 3 IUIs, which is a fertility treatment, and I'll probably do an entire fertility video. I want to plan on doing that. I actually filmed every part, like a lot of that whole process, but I just never ended up posting it. But we did 3 different treatments for 3 months. None of it worked. And that was in 2021. And then I feel like after that didn't work, I was like, okay, I've got to like move on from this just fertility thing being like such a huge part of my life. I'm still young, like we have a lot that's going still well for us, like we need to just live in the present, and like I just want to take a break from worrying about this for a little bit. And I really truly feel like I did, and 2022, it was not a huge point of stress for me. There were like moments where I'd be bummed about things, but like honestly it's just been a great year. So I'm so grateful for that, by the way, because it felt like relief finally. Like even though I didn't have the outcome that I wanted, like I never got pregnant this year, it just felt like relief not caring as much and being like, whatever, I'm gonna live my life for what it is right now. I'm getting the urge to put lip gloss on. Anyway, backtracking, going back to like why I was feeling like the holidays were making me sad or whatever. I was realizing I was on Instagram and I was scrolling through my feed, and it's probably just the stage of life that, you know, a lot of my friends are in, and a lot of the people I follow, I guess. But I was just seeing like post after post of families, kids, pregnancies, gender reveals, whatever. And especially during the holidays, I feel like it's like extra during that time. And so I was seeing a lot of that, and I was feeling kind of like depleted after I was like seeing all that type of content. And I was realizing like, I wonder if that is a part of just like the way I've been feeling lately surrounding the holidays, is that that's very family oriented, and it just like maybe kind of reminds me that like I can't get pregnant. So that was like a little realization that I had. The past few months, I would say it started like coming to my mind a little bit more in like an exciting way. We've always been excited to have a family, but like in 2021 we were getting like super excited, feeling like we're actually ready, like we're ready to be parents. We really feel that. And then when it just like didn't work, we're like, okay, whatever, let's take a break. And then we were kind of feeling that feeling again recently, the past few months, like I'm kind of ready for that chapter of our lives, almost feeling like something's missing. Like I feel like when we're doing like our just anything, we're cuddled up on the couch watching a Suns game, I'm like, I just picture it so clearly with like a baby with us, and I don't know how to explain it. It just feels like we're ready for like that next step. That like desire has been reignited a little bit in me, which has brought on a lot of emotions, because I realized that whenever I feel excited to become a parent, it's immediately for me severed or like wiped away, the excitement. just based off of past experiences and the fact that it's been like 4 years and like we've never been able to get pregnant. It's hard for me to even daydream or get excited about that when it has never happened. It feels so out of reach. So I've just been kind of like on this mental roller coaster where I'm like, Leif and I have been talking about it and getting excited about it again, but I'm just like, oh, I don't even want to get excited because I know like how crushed I was last time when I really thought, like when we were doing our IUIs, I was like, oh, I think that one of them will work for sure. And none of them did, and it like was very soul crushing to me. I was like very shocked. I was like, wow, I really thought that it was gonna work. I had a lot of faith in it, and when it didn't, it was just like, I don't even want to care about this. Do you know what I mean? When you like get hurt and you just put a wall up and you're like, okay, goodbye, I'm like never going to be vulnerable again. That's kind of the energy. Anyway, so I think that's kind of my way of protecting myself, but truly, it's not like this whole year has been like a fake, like, I don't care. I actually do. It's like, sure, I have moments again of being sad, but like for the most part, it's been good. So my point is, in 2023, I think that Leif and I will probably try IVF, and that's like a huge step for us. If like IUI does not work for you, which it didn't, we did 3, they didn't work. IVF would be the next step. When I think about it, I get excited because again, I feel very hopeful. It's hard for me to even let myself go there because I'm like, well, what if it just doesn't work? And then like, I've been very, very hopeful about IVF this whole time. I'm like, okay, the IUI didn't work, but I really think the IVF one will. And Leif was just saying that basically that we were talking this morning and he was like, we might as well be happy throughout this whole process than just be like, oh, it probably won't work, and like just be very negative. Even if it doesn't work, either way, we're gonna be sad. If we were negative and we're like, oh, it probably won't work, and it didn't work, we'd still be devastated. And if we're like hopeful and happy and then it doesn't work, we're still gonna be devastated. You know what I mean? So it's like, either way, we're gonna be sad. Let's just try and be positive in the meantime. That's kind of an exciting life update. I have a doctor's appointment scheduled, but I couldn't get in for like multiple months, so I can't even go in to like have a consultation because this doctor that I want to go to is just, he's really a really good doctor, and I think he's just busy and booked, so that's why I couldn't get in with him sooner. But we're gonna go to a consult and see what the deal is, see if IVF is a good option for us, and like the doctor's gonna look over all of our medical records and stuff from our last doctor in LA and whatever. So that's kind of coming in the new year, and I'm very excited again, but a little bit cautiously excited. I feel that I'm in a weird place in my life where I'm surrounded by all sorts of different people in different stages of lives, which is awesome, and that's like what I would always want for my life. But most of the people that I'm surrounded by and most of my best friends are either pregnant, have a kid, or are trying for number 2, have number 2 already. Like, I can't even explain really the feelings that it brings, but I guess I'm just like gonna go into all this right now. I was like, oh, I should make a separate video about fertility, whatever. I'm just like talking about it, so I might as well just keep going. Again, this is just me like having a little therapy session with y'all, having a little vent session. But I think what's very interesting about being in that scenario where like you're pretty much the only one who doesn't have kids and like everyone else does, number one, it's isolating because you just feel like you're left out of like a club that everyone else is in. And I think it's much more intense than like, oh, all my friends like this workout class, but I don't, so I'm not gonna go. Motherhood is like an experience that if you have not experienced it, you quite literally do not understand at all. They just have a completely different lifestyle, and it's a different chapter. It's a different phase of life. And so it's like when you feel like you're left behind, no matter what that looks like for you, if like you're single and all your friends are dating someone or whatever it is, like when people move on to the next chapter of life and you are trying to get to the next chapter and you can't, that is like it's a very uniquely isolating feeling that is just like, you want to feel nothing but happiness for your friends and family. And that's how I feel. Like, this is the problem, is that whenever I would start to feel like sadness or like loneliness surrounding this topic, I would immediately get mad at myself and be like, it's not about you. Like, if someone says they're pregnant or if whatever happens, that's not about you. That's about them. And like, let them have their moment and like, let them celebrate, and you need to celebrate them. And the thing is that I do that, and I want to do that. I do not want to be unsupportive of my friends or my family who are like starting their family. Like, that's the most exciting news for them, and it's like, I don't want to dim that down, you know what I mean? So So I feel like it's just this balance of being like genuinely being very happy for them and feeling this like joy that like new life is coming, but then also trying to like protect my energy as well sometimes. Another thing that I think is interesting, or that I think is very hard about going through something like this, is that for the most part that I see on social media or people that I know in person who have kids, like when they have kids, their whole life shifts and it becomes the most important thing in the world to them. And I completely, well, I was gonna say I understand that. I obviously do not, like, I have never been there, but I understand the sentiment. And like, I think I would be the same way. And I literally, everyone that I know is like that, where they have a kid and they're just like, oh my gosh, my world is forever changed. So I get that. I think when you're trying to experience that and you can't, and then everyone's just like, oh, you'll never know a love like motherhood, like you'll never understand like true love and connection until you have a baby, like giving birth is the most magical thing, it's so surreal, you fall more in love with your partner than you thought ever possible. All of these things that you hear, and like even during the holidays, like holidays with kids are so magical, nothing could have prepared me for, you know what I'm saying? Like all of these sentiments that people share, which are very sweet, and like, again, I'm sure I will be saying the exact same thing, but when you cannot get to that level that like your friends are at, and you have tried very hard to get there, and you cannot relate, it just like hurts. Like it's like a different type of hurt, because you're like, I want to experience that. Like I want to experience the love that motherhood brings. I want to experience like these emotions that you're talking about, but I literally can't. And I think just in general this year, I want kind of a peaceful feeling is what I'm searching for. This year was such a like hustle year for me, and I still want to carry that into 2023. I don't think I'm capable of like leaving that energy behind ever. You guys know me very well at this point. So I definitely will still be, you know, in my hustle era forever. And also my brand hopefully is going to be launching very soon. And like that I am so excited for too. So I have a lot of exciting, still like fun personal things. We're doing more shows for What We Said. Like I have a lot of fun stuff coming up, but I've felt kind of this like heaviness over me. It's weird, heaviness, but then excitement over me lately about the fertility stuff. I'm like, okay, I think it's time to do IVF. Like, I think we should move forward with it. And that is like a terrifying, exciting, but terrifying thought. And I think in general, it's important to remember that two things can be true at the same time. You can have two different types of emotions at the same time, and that's perfectly valid. I feel like sometimes, if I'm speaking for myself even, like if I am feeling overwhelmed or like whatever, something negative, but then I'm also feeling excited, I like almost can't let myself feel both. I'm like, oh, I'm just so overwhelmed. And I'm like, but I am also excited, and like two things can also, they can live together at the same time. And I think that's also important with like putting a label on where you are in life. You know, I jokingly have been talking a lot about like, oh, I was in my flop era for 3 years, and like now I'm in my slay era. And obviously that's just like a funny way, or like a silly way of saying that I was kind of in a low period of my life, and then I feel like I had this shift in my mindset and in my just reality where things got a lot better for me. Even if you feel like you're in your flop era, or you're just like, I don't feel happy or confident, you can still have moments of slaying, okay? You can still have moments that you're doing so well, and that can be true at the same time. So what I think we should all be saying, and that's why I keep like joking about it, like that we're all in our slay eras, we're all doing so great, even if there are certain like moments where we're not thriving. We don't need to be like, oh, now I'm not thriving, and like make that your whole personality. I personally would rather just try very hard to focus on the positive of my life and make that more of the focus. And then sure, I'm gonna have moments of sadness, of loneliness, whatever, but that's not the majority of my life. Those are just like moments that are normal. I also think a major theme of this year for me was like finding my independence as far as my belief systems and like my faith and my religion and all of that. And people are always asking me like questions about that type of stuff. Are you still Mormon or da 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 da? And it's weird. I will go through phases where I'm like, I want to make a video all about religion and like my experience growing up Mormon, and I want to talk all about just everything. And then literally the next day I'm like, I don't want to talk about that at all. Like, I feel like religion is just such a touchy subject. Something that I've realized is that if someone is very bought into a religion and they believe every part of it and they think that it's like just the one and only, you know, the one and only truth on this earth, if you in any form or fashion, even by you sharing your own experience, being like, oh, I don't really connect with that, or like distancing yourself from that, I think it feels like a personal attack to the person. For instance, if you have family members who are super Mormon and you're like, I don't know if I'm like vibing with this anymore, they take it as like a personal thing, like that you are doing against them a lot of times. And I'm not even speaking about my family. Literally, I have the like most supportive family ever. I'm just saying in general, I think that that's like the general consensus. Even when I've posted anything on TikTok about religion or about like my experience growing up LDS, like I will get stitched and like people will take what I say and then will basically bash me and like, and I'll get a bunch of hate for it. Like people being like, you're spreading misinformation and like you don't know what you're talking about and whatever, whenever I've shared my experience. So first of all, it makes me not want to share that much because I'm just like, I'm never going to change these people's mind. They're never going to change mine. What's the point kind of thing of like chatting about it. But I also do hope that by like sharing what I even have shared on the podcast or on here, wherever, on TikTok, that like it hopefully resonates with someone out there and they can like relate to it. It makes them feel comforted or something. That's all I can hope for. Anyway, people always ask me just like where I'm at with like my spiritual religious journey. And the answer is, I don't know. And I literally haven't known for the past 4 years. Like that's literally always my response. And I wish I don't know if I'll ever have a better response. All I know is that this year, distancing myself from organized religion and just kind of listening to my own gut and my own intuition, it has been the best year of my entire life. And I've felt more like me than I ever have before. And it's so weird. It's like I feel like I've always known, I think I've always had like a very deep sense of who I am. Like that is something that I feel confident in, and I have since I was very young, is this deep sense of like identity. I know who I am and I know I can like rely on myself, and I know that I'm a smart girl. That is something that is very deeply rooted in me. It always felt like there was this layer of like I was living life for other people, kind of. Not living a fake life. I always feel like I've tried to be authentic, but like playing a part or going along with motions that I felt no connection to, nor did I have a reason behind what I was doing, which does not fit with my like soul and my personality at all. I'm not going to be doing something unless I know why I'm doing it. And that is how I've been my entire life. I'm the annoying person asking why, asking questions. I don't want to go along with what someone else said unless I have a personal reason to do so, which made it very hard for me to have blind faith and follow along with a religion that has a lot of guidelines and like a lot of, you know, rules, I guess you could say. It makes that very difficult when you have a personality that's like, well, why am I doing that? And there's no, you know, a lot of times there's no answer for why you're doing things. It's just like, oh, just have faith. Like, we don't have to understand it. Just have faith. This is how I feel. I don't know what the purpose of life is. I don't know exactly what's going to happen to us after we die. And I take comfort in that. I like not acting like I have it all figured out. I think it's great to have beliefs, and I think it's powerful to have faith and to have a religion that you subscribe to that makes you a better person. But that is, for me, that would be the reason I would be in a religion, is if it makes me a better person. And I truly felt like in this stage of my life, it was not making me better. It was making me full of negative emotions, anxiety, and just all of this stuff that I'm like, this does not feel right. It's not fitting. And I have found a lot of like inner strength in, again, like just distancing myself and being like, what do I think? What like, why am I doing the things I'm doing? what are the reasons? I'm not gonna just sit here and do things that I've been told to do unless I have the conviction to do so. I think I'm truly, every year I probably say this, but every year I feel like I'm getting closer to the person I've always wanted to be, where I'm like unaffected by, you know, even the religion thing. Like if people don't get it, I feel like it's always like really bothered me. I'm like, why don't you get it? I feel like I over-explain myself. I'm still not understood in certain ways, whatever. And I'm like getting closer and closer to the point where I'm like, I care less to explain myself. I'm just like, I'm gonna live life how I'm gonna live life. If you don't get it, that's like truly not my problem. And like, you can live life literally however you want to as well. I hope that people can give me the same respect. I can't even begin to get into how layered growing up in a religion is, and specifically growing up LDS. It has so many freaking layers I can't even like begin to explain. I'm feeling a lot of emotions for the start of the new year. Happy, calm, excited, nervous, at peace. Still don't know what the F I'm doing with my life or what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? I'm just feeling a lot, and I think that that's literally what makes us human, is that we feel tons of emotions and we don't need to be put in a box. No one should be put in a box. I want you guys to know, first of all, that I respect you no matter what. Like, I really have deep respect for a lot of people who are super religious. Like, I think that they're smart, capable people. Even growing up that way, like, sure, I have things that I don't like about the way that I grew up Mormon, but there are a lot of things that I love and I think were very valuable to me. I have very mixed feelings. I probably always will, and it's been very confusing, a confusing thing to navigate. And again, I think it always will be. And maybe we can have a deeper discussion about all of this later on my channel. Like, if you have specific questions or like specific things that you would like to dive into, I would love to. It's more of just like, again, I feel like it's going to get in the hands of the wrong people, and like, I feel like they're just going to be offended. Like, I don't know. You guys get it. You know what I mean? I think it just scares me talking about a very sensitive subject such as religion, when I know it means a lot to people, and I would hate to like make you feel alienated if like you love my channel but you're religious and you think that I'm like talking down to you or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't like to get into all of that. Let's end with a little word of inspiration. I just want you guys to know that literally anything that you can imagine in this world, you can create it. And like, you are in charge of your own reality. Try and surround yourself with people and with the energy that you really want for your life. And I'm trying to be very intentional about that this year. Like, when I'm scrolling on TikTok and I see even like a true crime video or something, I scroll away immediately. When I see like a drama thing on TikTok, I'm just like, I scroll away, because I don't want that in my space at all. Like, I think this year I'm getting even more ruthless. I don't want to consume negative media. I don't want to be around people who are just constantly like draining my energy. I think it's very important to prioritize who you spend a lot of time with. And that's something that has also been on my mind a lot, is just like the concept, you know, you guys know the tale as old as time. Like, you are the sum of the 5 people that you surround yourself with the most. And I think that is something very important to keep in mind. And that's something I'm keeping in mind in the new year, is I want to be around people who energize me, who I feel good around. Like, I have a lot of people like that in my life, and I want to prioritize spending more time with them, because it's just only going to boost you up, you know? And again, with all this IVF stuff, like, I'm choosing to really believe like it's gonna work, and that makes me really excited. So I'm excited for you guys to come along on that journey with me too. Basically, if there's just anything that you're going through in life right now that makes you feel sad and isolated, like, please know that you are so not alone at all, and I hope you really feel that. Whenever I share that I'm feeling like lonely or anything like that, I will get hundreds of messages from girls that are like, I've been feeling the same exact way. And I think that that's just to be expected in your 20s, honestly. Make a vision board for your life, for your year. Just think about how to become like a little bit better every day. I was actually watching this video, and sorry about the annoying noise. Like, what is that little, I don't know what that noise is, whatever. I was watching this video, and it was actually by my internet friend, Ashley Adams, but she made a TikTok and she was saying how like with manifestation or whatever, she was always trying to like manifest something that was like so far in the future. Like, you know, she's like 20 and she's like manifesting her dream house with her dream husband and her 4 kids or something, and she's like, I'm like not even remotely near that stage of life. And so her tip was like to manifest or to think about what you want in like the next level of your life. And it's not about like, oh, aim small, but it's just about kind of aiming for something a little more realistic that's like it's a little bit out of reach, but it's not like impossible in the next year. Like if you're making a vision board for the year, I was even thinking about that. I was like, I want to put my dream house on there, and I'm like, I'm probably not going to buy my dream house this year. So like, I'm not even going to put that on the vision board because that's not my vision for this year. Like maybe next year, maybe 2024, I don't know. But that's like not my vision for this year. My vision for this year is launching my company and doing IVF and having a successful pregnancy, traveling. I wanted to do like a European summer little moment. And those are kind of like the main things on my mind right now. I'm sure things will shift, and if they do, that's totally fine. I think another fear that I've had about sharing things on social media is I'm like, well, what if I change my mind? Like even right now, I'm feeling this urge of like, I want to get pregnant, I want to do IVF. And it's like, what if in 3 months I'm like, honestly, I'm not feeling it. Like we just launched our company, we need to slow down, something like that. That's very possible. But I'm like, whatever, that it's okay to change your mind. I don't know. I've gotten that a lot. Like, well, you said this. And I'm like, yeah, well, I changed my mind like a year ago or something. Well, I thought you were going to do this. And it's like, well, not anymore. So I think I'm just getting a little bit, also comes with the whole confidence thing and getting older. I'm just getting more okay with being like, I'll say what I'm going to say now. If in a month it changes, and I can like let you guys know, you know what I mean? So that's another thing to keep in mind for the new year. You can change your mind. You can make a vision board and then be like, you know what, in a month, if you're like, I'm not feeling this, like I want to kind of switch the vibe of the year. Great. You are literally in charge, and it's your own life, and you should do whatever you want, and don't listen to anyone else. Listen to your gut, listen to your intuition. It will never lead you astray. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for, again, all your support on YouTube and just anywhere. If you listen to the podcast, TikTok, whatever, I'm so grateful. You guys just mean a lot to me because you've really changed and shaped my life like the past decade, honestly, at this point, and I'm very grateful. So I love you guys so much. I hope you have an amazing start to your 2023. We'll see you in my next video. Bye.